Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Boomba right here on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Dolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. It promises to be a very interesting one today. There are quite a number of things we're going to be talking about, a number of controversies here and there. There's also a lot of gist. President Tinubu is back in the country. Inflation has miraculously dropped. That and a few other things that we're going to be talking about today at the bar. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. My name is Dolupo, and with me in the studio is Sola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Boom Bar.
Okay, so we're getting right into today's show. Like as usual, we're going to be talking about the funny thing. But first things first, President Tinubu is back in the country.
Yeah, so
You're asking, he's back.
Mr. President
Guess who's back?
has been everywhere. He has been to Europe, he has been to the other side of town, and now he's back. The funny thing is that when they were done with his meeting where he went to in the African continent, there were stories of him going back to France. People actually carried that thing. I'm like, wow.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. And the next thing is, I don't land for Abuja. So, Nigerian media, don't be quick to publish things that you are not sure of. Eh? So, Mr. President, welcome.
Welcome.
Ajala.
Welcome.
Ajala Ahmed Tinubu.
Ajala travel all over the world. Anyway, so wanted to, now, we're just putting it, but still talking about the president. So, this just is not about the president, but it's also kind of about the president, yeah? So it's about the inflation. So, kaboom, news came today. In fact, I think it started from, there was news that dropped earlier today that there was already talking about that from 2025, there was going to be a rebasing of the CPI, that's the something product index, consumer product index, yeah? That's CPI, that's what they use to measure inflation and all that. And I don't understand, but they said, I know that this conversation has been going on. So I saw a report today that experts were saying that with this rebasing that the inflation is going to drop to as low as between 27 to 30%. That was the report that was there this morning. Mm-hmm. Only for us to see a few hours after, and inflation has dropped to as low as 24.48%. Like I said, I don't understand how they did that rebasing, but what popped in my head is, remember when the president was talking about the budget and he was presenting the budget, the 2025 budget to the House of Assembly, he had talked about how inflation is going to go to as low as 15%.
Yes, it did.
Was this the president's plan? Because it's easier for something to go from 24% to 15% than it to go for 34% to 15%.
Yeah, we all felt that it was a long shot in the dark. Like, how was he going to achieve it? Like, you're talking 30-something to, like, basically half it. And, okay, so I guess this... But, again, the videos have emerged of him saying that they were going to do all of these things in the first place, you get.
There's this conversation, I think, as far back as October.
Yeah, according to them, there are aspects of the Nigerian economy that are not captured, the new ministries that were created and the work that they're doing and this and that and that and this. So they're saying that this is why the rebasing has to be done to capture all the data that is now available. And there are also claims that some of the reforms have started yielding results, and that's why there's a need for the Nigerian government to rebase the CPI.
Okay, so do you think that there is really a reduction in inflation, or it's just numbers that they just changed, that turned around?
There is inflation in the land. The things are expensive, majorly because we import too many things. However, if you like, tell me that it's 0.11% now. And I don't see people with the capacity to buy the basic things that they need. I'm not going to jump on your bandwagon.
I get you. I'm just telling you, like, personally, do you think that inflation has reduced?
I have seen things that make it look like Nigeria's economy is on the rebound. Things are about to get better. There's a headline I saw in the Punch today of how the market leaders in Kano are saying that things have crashed. The price of foodstuff and a whole lot of stuff has crashed drastically. Do you understand? I have listened to the Commissioner of Agric in Lagos. Every week she puts out a survey of markets and see how they capture about 6 months. And you see that things have gone down in this month that we're in. I've listened to the governor of Katsina and him talking about how, the improved security in southern Kaduna has led to more food production. And again, the federal government's plan that they started about almost 3 years ago, the year-round farming, which of course speaks to dry season farming, which means that now there's more food being produced. So I've centered around food because, trust me, those are the things. Before you talk, a lot of people tell you how much is a bag of rice, how much is oil, how much did they meet it, how much is it now, So these are the things. So for me, on paper, yes, I hear that Nigeria's economy has improved. But in my reality, it's still a long way.
Okay, so now that you said it, we'll definitely see what the issue is. Personally, like I said, I think that even if not for anything at all, the idea of what's the word now? The idea of Christmas period, and which we know that those things bring artificial inflation.
Yeah.
The idea that old era has passed, I think that there might really be a little bit of drop in Nigeria's inflation. That's what I think, generally. But anyway, we'll see how all that goes to. Me, I feel that all this changing of numbers, at the end of the day, if, like you said, if people do not really have purchasing power, there's no point of it all at the end of the day. Now let's move on from that. And interesting news, as NELFUND is now set to commence the 2024-2025 academic year student loan application from February 22nd. So basically, NELFUND is Nigeria's form of student loan, is the agency that disburses the money to Nigerian students in public universities, basically state and federal universities. And we see how they had been releasing numbers of how much has been disbursed for the last year, and they're looking forward
and the number of students that
and they're looking forward to how they're supposed to do that. So according to them, in the last year, in 220 days, which did not even last up to a year, they said that they received about 364,042 applications, and they had disbursed money to about 22,736,960,971 naira 58 kobo to cover institutional fees for 150 institutions, and this amounted to 215,514 students in the space of last year.
When over 200,000 students who would have struggled to pay their school fees get school fees, it has to count for something. It has to mean something. You're talking about at least 215,000 young Nigerians who are guaranteed education for this session.
Yeah, and they're also paid another 20,000 naira upkeep support for 169,114 students.
The disparity in that means that not everybody that gets a student loan gets the upkeep support.
Yeah, some people might not want it.
Maybe some people don't. Maybe some people don't qualify, or maybe some people are still being processed. I've seen a lot of people come out to say that they applied and they didn't get the loan for this reason or that reason. They don't know. But I just hope that more and more people can be blessed by this thing. It's a very good thing, and the beauty of it is that the agency in charge of the student loan, NELFUND, is already talking about the second window, which, I think you had mentioned, starts on the 22nd of this month, which is just a few hours away.
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less. Today is the 18th.
Yeah. So basically, it's interesting. For me, it is when the good thing for me is when you see something going from paper literally to fruition. Remember, there was a lot of back and forth with the legislation that has to do with this now.
What do you think went wrong with the APC during the campaign for Buhari about 10 years ago now? This president then was not the president. He was a party leader. I'd said they were going to do this student loan thing. Yeah. He said they were going to bring credit scheme and all of that. None of that happened.
I don't think that the president then believed in it. And why I would say that is that, remember that this student loan thing it's a bill that started with the chief of staff to the president now, who used to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. If the speaker brings up a bill and the bill is not being passed, it means that there is a fundamental thing. Because
that's why I asked you that. What do you think was wrong with
that's why I'm saying APC? That the president didn't believe in it. The then president did not believe in it. And give it to Gbajabiamila when he was speaker. It's probably one of the most charismatic speakers that we've seen in a while. Do you understand? And so if he had a bill that could not be passed when he was speaker, and now when he's no longer in the house, the thing was passed quickly, then maybe it was not the house, maybe it was the president that didn't believe in it, and then the house probably felt...
The bill you're referring to came towards the end of Buhari's tenure. Yeah. It was done so that it could be in sync in time for Tinubu's tenure.
Like I said, it doesn't look like the president. I don't think it was about the bill.
Yes, the president.
That's why I said the president didn't believe in it.
But if you put it out to the bill came like a few months to the end of the government.
Maybe the speaker knew. Maybe the speaker knew that the president of then.
Do you understand the point I'm trying to make?
I get your point. That still goes back to the fact that maybe the man knew that it was not going to fly, and by this time, this guy is already going anyway, so there's no point. So it's better to field in now that I can when I'm still the speaker, when I still have something to push in. And I think that was what happened. The President Buhari was not someone that probably believed. It's just speculations though, but he didn't believe in the concept of it, and there was no point. If we look back, like what you said, the now president that was not president then, it was obvious that it was his thing. It was something that he believed in. It was something I spoke about. However, he spoke about it, but since you're not a president, you were not in any form or shape part of the government. It's just an opinion. Last. So, different strokes for different folks.
Hence the question, what was wrong with them? Because imagine if there were 8 years of Buhari like they were, and students throughout that period were getting this much.
And then I also think that another problem was that I think the removal, whether we like it or not, removal of fuel subsidy has really opened up a lot of inflow of cash for the federal government and even the state government and the local government to do a lot of things that could not be done then. With the benefit of hindsight, and we look at the things that were going on then, there was a lot of money that was being spent on subsidy. They were subsidizing they were subsidizing fuel, they were subsidizing, or would I say, strengthening the naira or whatever it is they were doing with the dollar then, which even though whether it was some of it was done legally or not, that's another story for another day. There's the amount of money that was used to change or recolor the naira, all that. I don't think that they probably would have had enough funds available to them to do some of these things that they're doing now.
So, how did this government get funds?
Removal of fuel subsidy.
So why didn't that government do it?
He didn't do it.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not Buhari. He did feel there was a need for it, or maybe he just didn't get the balls to do it.
Anyways, a big shout out to all Nigerian students. Congratulations to those of you who have been, able to activate these loans, and those of you who haven't. Let us know if you're listening to us why, these things didn't get to you. You think there's something wrong somewhere, and
let's know.
How do we improve the system?
Yeah. Okay. Before we go on, for people listening to us, and anyway, for people watching us, you can actually also not just put your comment on YouTube alone. You could actually put a call through to WhatsApp. Now, the number is +234 in case you're not in Nigeria, +234. But if you're in Nigeria, it's just area. +234 9161 637661. Let me say that again. +234 9161 637661. And so moving on from the issue of NELFUND. Now, the Nigerian Air Force airstrike has now announced that it killed and foiled attacks on an army base in Katsina State. So, we'll say that's some good news, yeah?
Yeah, the beauty of it is that just a few hours ago, we were complaining about friendly fire or misfire by the Air Force. And this time around, they came through for the ground forces and they were able to, help them, overpower some unscrupulous elements, some criminals who were trying to overrun was it the PMF or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
So what this means is that this battle is being won slowly and surely. Like slowly and surely.
We're getting somewhere.
We're getting there. What amazes me is that how could we say it's based on the foundation that a former general had laid, that a civilian is now building on, or is it? I don't know what it is.
But whatever it is,
the bottom line is that people are safer now.
Yeah.
And Nigeria is getting better.
Yep. And now let's move on from that quickly, and let's do a bit of stories coming from the courts and a bit of arrest back and forth. But before I want to put it out there, the leader of the Pan-Nigeria Delta Forum, Edwin Clark, is now passed on at the age of 97. These men are really, really old. I think it was yesterday we were talking about, it was yesterday or 2 days ago,
it was last week, yeah.
Bayo Adebanjo. I think he was about 95.
95, 96.
Yeah, so...
It was last week.
Edwin Clark was 97. That's a lot.
Yeah, so, Pa Adebanjo's wife is still with us,
Yeah,
and she's in her 90s
94
too.
or something.
So, thank God for longevity. Thank God for a fruitful life. This is a journey that everybody will embark upon. The prayer has always been that when it comes very late, and it comes in the twilight
peaceful,
years
peaceful
and all of that.
manner.
So, Edwin Clark was an amazing person, interesting man, very outspoken. The most interesting thing is how they were blessed even till their last minute with cognitive, reasoning and everything. They could speak their minds. They could support or go against any good. They were fearless, especially Pa Edwin Clark. I just believe that Nigeria is going to miss
these people. Yeah. And now moving on, so let's say going to court. Now, House of Reps member Honorable Philip Agbese has now sued Binance executive for 1 billion naira over bribery allegations. So apparently, this Binance executive that was, arrested, or the one that was arrested and was detained for quite a while, went on Twitter, I think it was last week, and wrote some long epistle accusing 3 House of Rep members of wanting to get bribe from him and all that. Now, one of them is now suing him.
Yeah, he didn't stop there. He also said that the National Security Advisor told him that he was going to collect the bribe from him so that he can, push his agenda to become president or something. And that has got people talking. So you would expect that an House of Rep member will want to have his name cleared.
Yeah,
because
it makes
people
sense.
have actually gone to him. People have gone to his constituency to find out, okay, did you really do this?
It definitely makes a lot of sense. When I saw it, I'm like, interesting for you to write this when you're no longer in Nigeria. That was what I clicked, like, okay, quite interesting. Come back now. That's all I had to say. Like, okay.
People are really taking it upon themselves to defend Nuhu Ribadu. They went to dig out old video and even recent videos of former President Obasanjo talking about how incorruptible Nuhu Ribadu is.
Yeah, so I think I saw that. So anyway, that's the man has Surya, and I think that's the right thing to do at this point if you're going to. But what's the point? Because the person is not in Nigeria, so is this case really going to make any form of headway? Just wondering.
Let's see.
Just wondering. Okay, now let's still talking about the courts. The Kano High Court has now stopped the Central Bank of Nigeria from withholding local government funds. Apparently, there was a case that the court had stopped, had asked the CBN to not disburse because of the issues back and forth with the elections that happened in Kano State. Now, the court is now stopping the CBN. My first question is that, do we even have jurisdiction? Do they have jurisdiction over the CBN like that?
That's the first question. It's funny how a state court is calling all the shots back and forth. But from the look of things, I think in conclusion, it's a good thing that this judgment came out. Because I think now the money gets to the local government, something like that.
Yeah, but the question is, will the CBN... remember that there is a Supreme Court judgment really about stating explicitly the people that get monies and how they get monies and all that. Will the CBN actually listen to this?
The Supreme Court order is supreme and it's all encompassing. But I'm saying that write-up there, and that saying, I've seen a few stories, I've read a few, and it looked like a positive thing at the end of the day. That look, at the end of the day, the local governments will get their monies. They will get their monies. That's what's going to happen. They will get their monies. Because the law of the land supersedes any other thing.
That's what I'm saying. Will they really get that money right now? That's the issue.
They will. You cannot stop. You can't. It's funny now. It won't court somewhere will say that the Supreme Court judgment doesn't stand.
That's what I'm saying. If that's the case, then the local governments are not getting their money.
How? Did the Supreme Court say they shouldn't get their money?
So there is actually... The issue is that it has to be properly elected. Remember that...
you're saying local government in general. You're talking about the Kano local government.
Now, yeah.
Oh, let them sort themselves out now. Let them sort it. Let them go get the... because okay, yes, the story started in Kano.
No,
but it's a local government.
I'm talking about Kano.
They need to organize proper elections now.
Okay, still talking about the courts. Appeal court is now affirmed Oba Olaoye as the Shon of Ogbomosho. I know that there's a bit of back and forth about the king in Ogbomosho and saying that some people were pretty aggrieved. I think that's the
when apart from places like Ibadan or places where there's this system that doesn't really bring rancor. Apart from those kind of few scenarios, how many people have you seen become king and there's a camp that is not angry or going to court or anything.
This is where my issue is these days, yeah? It has now become a thing that there is, after a king is installed, there has to be one court case or another.
Yeah, it's
Don't we have laid down rules, even if it's not a dynasty or you don't have the arrangement that Ibadan has? At this point, maybe it's time that the Ibadan arrangement needs to be used, because it seems like that Ibadan arrangement is very foolproof. However, there were ways that these things were done before. All of a sudden now, everybody has a court case. You think that is just in the southwest? Ironio, there was issue with Warri. There's issue in even the north. So everybody seems to have a court case because you are aggrieved.
For as long,
it's a competition. Not everybody can be king now.
The Nigerian monarchies, for as long as they are tied to the apron strings of the government, there will always be these issues, because people believe that even if governors can pick kings, which is what happens in a lot of cases. If governors
there are ways that there are traditional ways that these things were done before.
So people believe that if governors can pick kings, the courts can also pick kings. So that's why a lot of people will, and we've seen a few people become king by going to court to say, look, it's the turn of our own ruling house, and the governor chose someone from another place, and we're not going to have that. So there've been all of that, and those are the things that erode, the traditional rulership system that we have, the monarchies. And every time you hear of these things, they just keep chipping away, at the moral fiber, at the structure that we call the traditional rulers and their old system. And it is a very painful thing for me personally. However, in this particular case of the Shawun, they actually went through the traditional means. They actually consulted Ifa, and this is the result that they got. But of course, there will always be people who are aggrieved. It's not possible. It's very rare in this world to have the entire world agree on one particular topic.
On one particular person. Okay, talking about monarchs. Interesting news. This one is not about the court case, but this is about a Nigerian monarch. Anyway, this is part of the reasons why some of them are being treated funny. The Akwetu of Ikpetumodu from Osun State, a whole king, has now been arrested and detained by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. So, he was declared missing in March of 2024. Daddy was not missing. He was just, Anyway, but Oba Oloyede Joseph was now found in FBI custody and is facing a 13-count indictment at the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Ohio. The indictment accuses him and his associate, Edward Oluwasomi, of conspiracy, wire fraud, and money laundering. Basically, they're saying that he orchestrated a fraudulent scheme with 6 registered companies, obtaining relief loans. Basically, COVID-19. That's COVID-19. There must have been a lot of money flying around, because this COVID-19 scam seemed to be like a lot of people really. I have no words. It's almost like as if people were waiting. Did you know there was going to be COVID?
I would like to.
Because I don't understand.
I would like to say that, so allegedly, a royal father, a king, is alleged to be a criminal, a fraudster. It does not sit well with me. You understand? Like, it's like king, fraudster. Fraudster, king should not be in the same statement. But here we are. This is a sad one. And as much as I say that government should not get involved in the traditional things too much, it's time for them to really,
it's ridiculous now.
Pick another king. Ori Adeoki Sunta.
This one is Osu Jelo. Owan jail. Koti Sunta nikon. Owani across the borders. across the oceans and the seas. Riade Suta is outside. He's not
When I saw this
inside
news
the outside.
yesterday, I'm like, is this a skit? Is it?
It's not a skit, Joe.
I wasn't watching a video, but I'm like, I'm a skit. That's
It's not a skit.
a whole royal father.
I beg you, where are you?
Royalty.
This one has robbed the royalty in the mud. And like I used to say, I know that there are still allegations here, but I used to say, before you people say that Dolupo is saying things that she's not supposed to say, it's bad enough that you have criminal tendencies. You know you can have criminal tendencies without acting on the tendencies. You now act on these tendencies, which makes you an alleged criminal. Yeah, you did not now stay your egbejegede in your place of influence that you might even be able to easily get away with it. You now do it abroad. You're on your own.
And again, I still question the proliferation of obas in southwest Nigeria.
Oh, there's so many now. There's so every time they carry
all the bales have disappeared.
Bale or chief, common chief.
They've all been replaced.
Everybody has become Oba. But this Igbetumodu is a proper town, actually. Like
I didn't say that. I'm using the opportunity to complain about the proliferation of Yoruba Obas
that do not have they do not have like pedigree. Like there's no pedigree of reason why this town has an Oba. But anyway, what do we know? Moving on, shout out to people that use Airtel. I think that is Airtel's turn now. Airtel has now increased their own data prices, and Nigerians are not having it as well.
So what are they doing?
There's a lot of hue and cry on social media.
What you can do is to complain and hope that they reduce it, but they are long overdue for an increase. I know people don't want to hear this.
Yeah,
but they are long overdue.
I think that we need to get to a point where we get it into our heads that there is definitely going to be an increase. Now, my own issue is, what increase would it be? You agreed to a 50% increase. Do not let it pass that. And that's where my own issue is.
And again, the federal government of Nigeria is telling us that inflation has gone down.
It did not go down. But they just rearrange numbers.
People will be spending more now.
Don't deceive yourself. They just change the numbers new.
To come online.
They just change the numbers new. Just telling you now. Anyway, let's do a bit of international stories. The US and Russian officials have begun talks in Saudi Arabia about the Russian-Ukraine war. But guess the twist. Ukraine is not in that meeting.
It's okay. For those of you who don't get it, because I'm not trying to be sarcastic.
You are not.
I want to be very straightforward about it. You see, you can. What they are saying now is that you can have your hair cut without being in the barber shop.
Without being there, yeah. So so things can happen without you being there.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So just picture your mom. That is you're a young man or woman, and your mom usually takes you to the barber shop. But this time around, she leaves you at home.
But you still get your hair cut.
But it's your hair that is being cut.
Okay, that's cool. That's
how do you have this? How do you have this without the owner of the head?
Yeah, we're looking at the Trump.
We gather day.
We did. And talking about it, interesting news from the United States again, as there's a lot of winter storm happening, and it's crazy. They're talking about 14 people already dead from that. It's a very, very sad one. It is scary, but the more scary one is the crazy increase in plane crashes.
Yeah,
especially in the United States.
Oh, did you see the one in Canada?
The Delta, it's actually coming. It's a Delta plane.
No, but it happened.
So it happened in Toronto, and that one had the plane flip upside
belly
down. It was belly up. Thankfully, a few people got injured, but nobody died.
About 18 people got injured.
But we need to have a conversation. See, I think when the first one and the second one happened, the one that I think fell into the river or the collision, there was one that the president said it was the Democrats or something. And after that, there's been quite a number of them. Isn't it time we stop? I think when 2025, even Nigeria, it happens. I say, it was APC, say, it was when the PDP was there. Can we stop throwing blames and realize that people's lives are at stake here? There definitely is a problem, whether we like it or not.
There is a problem, and it's a big problem.
People are legit getting scared to get on a plane.
It's almost as if, there's some kind of force somewhere that is behind this.
Something in the air. It is crazy. It is crazy. Before we attribute it to something spiritual, have we even eliminated everything physical? Because it does not make any sense. But anyway, sadly, 30 people died in Bolivia after a bus plunged into a ravine. So, also moving on from that, Pope Francis' weekend event has also now been cancelled after he was admitted in the hospital, I think last week, for bronchitis. But I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but in the past couple of weeks, if you follow the news, the Pope has been in and out of the hospital for the past few months. Yeah. I think the one before him, I think the Pope Emeritus, he stepped down.
Yes, it is.
Actually, isn't it time this one to step down? Because he's old. He's in his 80s.
It's rare to have a Pope step down. I think it's probably happened maybe just.
Well, we saw it happen.
That's why it's rare. The fact that you were privileged to see it doesn't mean it's the norm. You get virtually all the popes usually, stay there until their dying days. Apart from the Pope that was, I think it was short, but I think did he survive? John Paul, I think one of them died. Pope John Paul.
Pope John Paul died. Yeah.
But whatever it is, the Pope will usually be there until the very end. The Vatican has a system in place for that, so that's why they're saying they're canceling all these events at the weekend and all of that. For me, I would just pray that it survives this. You don't wish death upon anybody, but again, when it comes, it comes. But in this particular case, I pray that he survives it.
Okay, now let's do a bit of there are quite a bit of interesting controversies that has been happening between yesterday and today. First things first, Mr. Portable, for people that do not know, would I say a Nigerian musician that seems to be very vocal. Last night, and it seems to have, as I've had a few run-ins with the police over time, there's been a lot of back and forth. The latest one was where it was said that he had abused, or would I say assaulted is the word, some Ogun State officials. And I think even police were part of these people. And some of his proteges and people under him were arrested. And it seemed like everything was quiet, only for us to see the news yesterday that the police had put out that he himself was declared wanted.
Yeah, they had already invited him to come and he didn't show up. So, of course, the next step is to put out, what they call the notice that he is now being declared wanted. Now he knows that the government is not playing. He knows that the Nigerian police is all about their business. And they're not just going to look away because it's Portable, as who gonna go, And the funny thing is how Portable is being clever by half. You have made your bed, Portable. It's time to lie on it. You set yourself up, more or less. I said someone the other day, and they laughed. They thought I was making a joke, but I actually mean it. When you wake up and you start shouting "Wahala, Wahala, Wahala," and everybody in Nigeria knows what Wahala means. Wahala, Wahala, Ekidiko, Idamu Adugbo. All the
negative things that you say to yourself.
You think they don't have a bearing? That's where you are now. There's power in your tongue. But hey, let's leave him now cruise. All right, happy cruising. But from the look of things now, the police is not playing around at all. There's a time when he tried to switch the narrative. He tried to change it and wanted to make it political. They didn't bite
Nobody
it.
Said it.
Nobody bit that big.
It's interesting to see.
Again, I saw him leading up to this announcement. He had made different videos. There's one of the videos he made where he was actually making a sacrifice with a live tortoise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a very gory thing.
The one that was pouring Fanta.
That one was a long time ago.
Really?
It's not for this case. That's a different thing entirely. That one happened many months ago. The other thing he did was that he went. If you understand how the white garment churches work in Nigeria and globally, they have a place where they call Ileanu, which is the land of mercy. Every church has that, and he actually went to one church. To one church's Ileanu. He was wearing a white garment himself. And
So do we say that those prayers are not working?
And the sacrifice and everything
They're not working.
Yeah.
Saw a video that he had posted just a few hours ago, and he was sounding so calm. And
you would if you were not watching, you would mistake it for someone else.
He seemed to be begging for forgiveness, but I think that's your way past that right now. People need to be accountable for everything that we do. You can't just be doing things.
Like
you can't just be doing things just because, and you feel that it's just only you've been. Remember the DJ that he assaulted one time? It was also him with the
preacher guy.
The preacher that he hit as well.
Then his former signees.
And all that.
That was the first guy that actually got him arrested when that one wrote a petition.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We can't continue like that. We're not a lawless country. And speaking of lawlessness, after all the drama that happened in Osun State yesterday with, I think I'm not sure if there are up to 8 people that died in Osun State. I think between 6 and 8 people that the police had confirmed that died. One chairman of a local government was also shot. Quite a lot of violence in Osun State yesterday. Mr. Davido, the nephew to the governor of Osun State, decided to go on a Twitter rampage.
Yeah, not only did he write
was going
things
off,
down,
and
he made videos also
insulting the commissioner of police in Osun State.
Yeah, he more or less, also threatened them and said a lot of things that they were going to do, just to show that if they're mad, make all of us the mad and all of that.
Yeah, he said all that.
The funny thing is that a few hours after, like they say in all those skits, a few moments later, he comes out with a statement.
Statements, writing
now,
like as if
he had not bothered in the first place to jump on something that
you had no idea about. You
would not have
idea.
to be apologizing and explaining yourself. But it would be sad if, because you're the governor's nephew or you're the son of this particular big person, that the actions you've taken, there are no repercussions. It would be a very sad day and a sad day for Nigeria. And
so
the Nigerian police, you guys are always eager to get on some of these kind of cases. I'm wondering what you're waiting for.
Yeah, what are you waiting for? This person he posted the picture of the Commissioner of Police of Osun State. Says, Mr. Commissioner, respect the rule of law. You're not madder or crazier than us. Make we all cuckoo mad. Men mount walai to KRF. Don't know what that is. I'll post you every day, everywhere, Mr. Man. Try me. And he went on, made videos and, said all sorts of things. Only for him to now be posted. My take on the Osun CP forthcoming local government.
Now you have a take.
Initially,
you had threats. Now you have a take. Are you not supposed to have a take first before issuing out threats?
Writing all sorts and signed Mr. David Adeleke. You have no sense. Absolutely no sense. It's obvious somebody had to tell him is that you need to stop what you're doing. But I am honestly waiting, is the police just going to let this slide? Because are we really going to overlook this lawlessness? Because we'll be here, when someone insulted the IG and the person was arrested.
2 very young men a few months ago were playing with the Nigerian currency, and whatever they did in that video was termed as against the law. Have they been reprimanded?
We were here.
Have they been reprimanded? No. There have been other cases like that, and you start to wonder, why does the law look like it's selective?
Yes, yeah.
That's how much I can say.
It's you know, it's just it honestly is unfair. It's crazy that people, because you're rich or you know people and all that, you can get away with lawlessness. It's the height of lawlessness. This is someone that there are a lot of young people that actually look up to you.
Yes.
So what are you teaching people? That you can be lawless? Like, can you just keep quiet? How is it so difficult at times for people to keep quiet? Why is it such a difficult matter? Why can't you just be quiet? Anyway, still talking about Nigerian artists. I'm trying to look for the resurrected,
the born again
rapper.
The
resurrected Nigerian rapper. It's not the first, so you know, it's not the first time, or it's not the first one to go and come back. This is the president of Oladips has now come for the hip hop, basically.
Hip hop awards.
For hip hop awards, the Headies, saying that I think this was because his song was not nominated for the rappers
Which of his songs?
category. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't know that he had songs.
Oh, yes.
My bad.
Yeah, he has songs.
But
he has
apparently,
an album.
he does. Oh wow. You maybe dying and come back from the grave should probably make you more popular. I think in Oladips' case, it was the other way around.
The sad thing about this, you know, is that Oladips is actually a very, very good rapper, and on his album last year, there's a song that looks like a cipher, where, you know, they were responding to the Ghanaians when they were calling out Nigerian rappers and everything. It's just sad, you know. But again, people need to study the criteria. I hope that the organizers of the awards will put it out. Do you understand that? So
maybe they should.
Understand that? Okay, I don't qualify. Oh, I qualify.
Yeah, maybe people should actually, so that people know at times, because I get the angle where a lot of people actually feel that they are being sidelined. I think some people actually are being sidelined, but at the same time, Daddy, what
do they want Kiss Daniel to say?
Kiss Daniel finally got nominated.
Dolupo.
Hey, finally, he's never really been nominated. They don't even used to recognize.
So what did they expect him to say? He's never really been nominated. Do you understand?
Yeah.
What did you expect him?
So he's finally gotten nominated this time. So we'll see. We definitely will see what is interesting. Anyway, updates from the Lagos State House of Assembly, where a lot of people have had a lot of things to say. First things first, there was an APC chieftain that was in an interview with the person of Babatunde Bankanthony, where he basically was like, there's a lot of people that are calling on President Tinubu, to weigh in on the drama that is happening in Lagos State Assembly, but that when is the APC going to continue to be spoon-fed, and what happens by the time there is no Tinubu again, that when can't Lagos State solve their issues, the governor should sort the issues out in his state. And the president has bigger issues than Lagos State House of Assembly.
It was obvious that there was something wrong yesterday, and especially when the DSS showed up unannounced. Then the DSS later clarified that they were there to keep the peace. Then you would see that the deputy speaker, the woman tried.
The speaker, not the deputy.
Sorry, the speaker. She was deputy before, but now she's Madam Speaker. You would see that she had gone through a lot, because even after the vote of confidence was passed in her, she broke down and started crying. And again, you see that it looks like she's extremely popular amongst the staff
The
also.
staff, yeah.
And Mr. Obasa, on his own part, is still well within his right to fight for the seat of Speaker, but do it within the confines of the law. You already went to court. Are you not supposed to wait for the court case to be heard?
But if he's not, my question is, and I still said it yesterday, is that you were not elected as a speaker now. Apparently, I did a bit of reading, and you know that when it comes to speakership and all that in the House, they really do not even need to have a concrete reason for people to be impeached.
Oh no, as long as they can come together and the
Once
miss is in
they
place.
come together, anybody else can be picked and they move on.
Another funny thing that they've been...
So I'm like, so what's this whole drama? Is it that you've been there for so long?
You know, if you like, they waited for him to go to America on holidays before they...
Obviously, obviously. That one is obvious now.
Another funny thing that they've been saying is that, the governor is from Lagos Island, and that the speaker is also from the governor's area, and they can't have that there has to be a balance. Do you understand? And I listened to the APC person that went, and he was saying, the lady is from Apapa, the governor's of Lagos Island, and Apapa is not even Lagos Central.
Lagos Central, yeah.
So they should put it to rest, because there was a lot of that sentiment. I even read a lot of people saying it, that look, Lagos is not balanced. How can they bring this from there? And at times I'm are we not going too far with this power sharing system?
If Lagos is supposed to be balanced, we won't have one speaker for the past 10 years. Let's call it spade.
I don't think it's becoming ridiculous.
We won't have one single seat, one single constituency producing the same speaker for the past 10 years.
If the governor of Lagos is from Surulere, for instance, then the speaker cannot come from...
No, I get that angle, yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense.
To me, like I said, I think that for competence level, I don't think it makes so much sense. But for politics, yeah, so that they'll say, okay, these things go round to other parts of Lagos, everybody is represented. I get the point. However, if we're going by that conversation, then one person cannot be speaker more than once. If that's what you're saying, this person is on his third term. The same Agege seat, the same Agege constituency. It's not. He has been speaker when there was another governor from another side, and then he's still speaker from. So when are we going to rearrange that one as well? That's it now. That angle doesn't work.
Exactly.
It does not work. It doesn't.
I'm happy that the current speaker has all this support. Personally, if I'm going to speak for myself, I think they should just leave all the politics aside and allow Mr. Obasa to go to court and get the judgment he wants or not.
Yeah. And let's move on from that. Atiku Abubakar also has quite a number of things to say about the House of Assembly. Quite a number of people. I saw the Labour Party governorship candidate as well, Gbadebo Revival, also talking about how this is not Lagos State, this is not how things should be, and Atiku basically saying that the people that have claimed that democracy, they're the ones that are behaving like, which, to be honest with you, I think is very embarrassing. And the truth is, you don't hear such about Lagos State.
So what did you hear about Lagos this time?
This drama, you don't hear this drama about Lagos on a normal day, yeah? But at the end of the day, everybody is fighting for their lives. Everybody is fighting for their life. People need the money. It looks like the status of being the speaker, the number 3 person in the state like Lagos State, seems to be interesting. So I saw someone put it out there and say that House of Assembly member in Lagos State, in some places bigger than some House of Rep members in another state.
Well, you can't put that past Lagos. With the level that they have gotten to.
Do you understand? So I get the point. So maybe that's what Mr. Obasa is really holding on to. But at the end of the day, if you really cannot come back as a floor member, Kuku just be going home. It's not hard, really and truly. It's really not hard. It's not that bad. Just go home. Simple and short. Quickly before we go, the police have apprehended 6 people for transformer theft in Rivers State. How are you people stealing a whole
I like the way they made bangles and chains for them. They put the armored cable that one of them stole around his neck. And
How are you stealing a whole transformer? Why are you people doing this to you?
And you're still the same people that will come and shout, we don't get like government too bad.
A whole okay, so you isn't that you want to put it on your head?
Yeah, it's for sale now.
No, I know it's for sale, but it's that you want to carry it on your head, or you want.
You're talking about a country where
hardened criminals,
an entire ship disappeared. I'm waiting to be transformer. You're just
interesting. You're just an interesting bunch in this Nigeria. I will not say more than that. Anyway, finally, before we go, resident doctors have now begun an indefinite strike over the power outage at the University College Hospital, Ibadan.
Yeah, I thought they had sorted out this power thing. Then they said it was the hostels that didn't
apparently it looks like it was by the time they finally gave power, it was only
the hospital. So the hostels don't have power and they've not been able to sort it out. You understand why the doctors are on strike, and government do something fast. If I was the federal government, I would take over.
Maybe it's time to just see. If last I checked, UCH is under UI. If UI cannot take it away from them and turn it to Federal Medical Center Ibadan, and then let the federal government take over it completely. Because if they can't do whatever it is they're doing, then it's not making sense. If I'm correct, UCH is supposed to be the largest teaching hospital in Nigeria. If they are having these kind of issues, what's not the fate of everybody else?
Exactly.
It's horrible. It's a horrible, it's very, very embarrassing situation. Anyway, on that note, that is all we'll be able to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Boom Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Peace.